Hello, hello. Welcome to our last episode of Dropping Into Happiness of 2022.
What?
We are your hosts. I am Rachel.
And I'm Maggie.
Can you believe it? It's episode 50, guys.
You know what?
50.
If you have listened to every episode by the end of 2022, let us know in a comment.
Yeah.
Send us a message. We should shout them out in the new year.
That'd be fun.
Random idea I just had that we did not plan in advance for. But we
sometimes
totally shout y'all out.
I know. I would love that. I think that's a great idea. So yes, if you have listened to every single episode this year, and it does not have to be from the get-go. If you started in June and you've listened to all 50, I'll still count it. Like, we'll still totally count that as long as you listen.
As long as you are up to date.
Been on this journey with us. Because, guys, I cannot believe this is the last episode. So remember, the next 2 weeks, there will not be a new episode. Maggie and I are taking a couple of weeks off because obviously the podcast has not missed an episode all year. So we're taking a couple weeks off.
I'm telling you, Rachel does most of the work, so she really deserves the break. I mean, and if you have any gratitude, have it for Rachel because she makes sure that this functions.
I really do. Yeah, I enjoy it. I love when it comes to the editing and our research. Oh, thank you. I mean, I had an idea. I wanted to do a podcast for a very, very long time, and I just it never clicked like what I was going to do it on. And then I met Maggie in a WW workshop. I was her support for a little while back in,
2020.
Yeah, like early 2020. It was like April, May-ish, somewhere in there. And it just kind of hit me that I want to talk to Maggie more often, because when it came to a point where we were not going to work together anymore, I presented the idea to her and she's like, yeah, dude, let's do that. And we've been doing it this whole year, 2022. Holy cannoli. So much growth. And if you listen to the last episode, we really talked about our year, what we accomplished, what we learned from it. But this episode, this week, we're kind of getting ready for 2023 now. So, I mean, I've showed you guys before, but I'll show you again. Like, I have my little book. Actually, honestly, I got this on the WW shop. Yeah. I just put a bunch of my Harry Potter Hufflepuff stickers on it because I'm a big Potterhead. But so I still haven't done my 2023, but this is like, we're going to talk about planning out, getting ready for, gearing up for 2023. Where are our heads at? What are we looking to do in this coming year? So me and Maggie, we want to talk it out with you guys. We want to talk out the goals, the plans, the ideas, and you never know what could spark from just talking things out loud. So how do we want to jump into this, Maggie? Do you have like goals set already? Do you have ideas of what you want to do, or where are you going with it?
Yeah, I think last week's episode and reflection kind of helped me think through some of the intentions I wanted to set. And I really want to learn the lesson of setting realistic goals and not getting ahead of myself, because I am a dreamer. I envision doing all of the things. I'll have like random bursts of interests and stuff. But I really want to think, okay, like on what I know works, on what I know I've been able to sustain, what can I focus on? And one thing I didn't address in the last episode, which I should have, was my growth and organization. Because Rachel, when Rachel and I first started this podcast, it was very early on when we had a set time to record, and she was like, where are you? And I was literally like at the nail salon.
That only happened once, though.
But it was like a wake-up call, because that was just like a microcosm? Y'all know what I mean.
Yeah.
Of like all the other times where I've just like dropped the ball on not like life or death situations, but just like it lacks professionalism. It doesn't help me build trust with someone, to like drop the ball like that. And I was going back into teaching full-time in person, and I just wanted to like have the identity of someone who was organized. Like, I'm not at the point where like Rachel is, where she has this whole Google Calendar and like color-coded spreadsheet, and like you can be like, hey Google, where am I at today at 3? I'm not there. But one thing is, I use my teacher planner every single day since the first day of school. This is the longest I've ever used a planner. I was a chronic buy a planner, use one page, never touch it again person. I was like a Post-it note person. I was like, I'm keeping it in my head. And it wasn't working anymore. And so I was like, okay, you're going to do this planner and you're going to use it. And so right now it's very teacher focused, that planner is. It's like my lesson plans and like my to-do list when it comes to school. But now that I've really built that habit on, I've like, okay, Rachel was talking a lot about like writing it down, journaling, like being
Mm-hmm.
able to reflect back and have that. And I'm like, I want that, but I need to be realistic. I can't just be like Rachel and all of a sudden have this amazing journal with the fun stickers and like all this
Yeah.
thorough. It's just not going to work. So I was like, one of my goals for this new year is to start bundling when I sit down and do my teacher planning to just write like one thought of the day when it comes to my health. So it doesn't have to be like a full like
Yeah.
health reflection for each day, but just like maybe something that went well or if something got in the way and just like have that little nugget like tacked on
Mm-hmm.
because that just feels a little bit more doable to me than saying like, oh, I'm going to have this whole separate journal now that's for my health and I'm going to do all this. Like I just don't think it'll slide. It'll be like jump roping for 2023. So it's just like the joke of
No,
the podcast.
I'm like, and I'm shocked it's not nearby. For at least a couple of years, my diary / journal / planner was all the same thing. I had this great planner, and it's crazy because the lady who used to do them does not do the same ones, and it makes me really, really sad because I loved the size of it. But I would put stickers. I would do, my when I would go for a walk, how many miles, how far did I go, how long did I get, and like all the things. So where I was, if I was out with and like every month, if I had taken a picture that I just really represented that month, I would I'd get it printed and I would have it on the front cover of that month. And it literally was like a scrapbook of my entire year. And I was so sad when that lady stopped making the size that I loved because I'm like, I still have them because I look back on them sometimes. And I love that I have those reflections. But yeah, it was a little bit of everything once. It was my planner, my journal, my scrapbook of the year. But I love that though. Like it's the one that you've gotten into the habit of doing. And now just like you said, just tacking on just that little bit of extra and just kind of getting in the habit of that now. Oh yeah. I love that.
Because maintaining that organization for my professional life will be great, but then if I can also have the added bonus of some health reflection on top of it, I think that's going to be where the money's at. So that's one goal. Do you want to talk a little bit about your process before I share another goal? We can kind of do a back and forth.
Yeah. Okay. So we've talked about our why. Right. We talk about that a lot in WW. Honestly, like every major wellness program that wants you to focus on your mindset will ask you, why are you doing this? What is your why? And my why is very health related. I had a lot of people in my family die from diseases that literally could have been avoided. And so that was a big thing for me. I want to live my life. I want to be healthy in my life. And so I want to avoid these things. And I mentioned in the last episode, I did kind of stray away from my why for a little bit. And I do love me a good podcast. And I was listening to this podcast the other day, and it's called IFLScience, The Big Questions. And I just kind of hit shuffle, and this one came up, and it was called, How Does Your Diet Impact Your Body's Ability to Fight Disease? I mean, It was like meant for me. And I was like, wowza. Oh my gosh, I've always believed these things. And now I'm hearing a scientist tell me, look at these are things that your body can do when you are treating it better, when you are making sure that it's at its peak, when you are getting in all of these amazing nutrients that can increase your immune system and your metabolism and all of these things. And I immediately bought this doctor's book. His name is Dr. William Li, L-I. And he has 3 books, I want to say, but the book I bought was called Eat to Beat Disease. And that's really getting me back on my why. Why do I do this? I was doing this because I want a healthy body. I want to avoid, every single woman on my mom's side of the family has diabetes. But me, literally, as of right now. And I'm like, okay, let's keep this let's keep this going. Let's keep not having this situation pop up.
Breaking the cycle.
Yes. And so right now, just reading that book is really getting me back in this phenomenal mindset of why I did this in the first place. So I am currently reading the Eat to Beat Disease. Like I said, he has 2 other books. I couldn't tell you off the top of my head, but I almost bought all 3 of them because that's just the kind of person I am. But I'm like, slow your roll, crazy pants. Let's just start with one book at a time. Even though I did buy another book the other day, because I mentioned her book in the past. Oonagh Duncan, love her. She's the one that had the F-bomb in the title of her book.
Mm-hmm.
She has another one, though, called Ditch the Diet. And she's very much mindset oriented the same way that WW is. And I just love the way that she writes how she talks, essentially. And I'm kind of in the middle of reading that book, too. So I'm getting really back into, because I love self-help books. I love books like this that keep me in that phenomenal mindset. Because it's the same thing about, like, when I talked about being in workshops. And, like, remember we've talked about just keeping it top of mind. And that's where I need to keep my why more top of mind into 2023. So I'm starting now. I'm not that person who's like, okay, well, I'll start it on the 1st. No, I don't like doing that. Or like, I'll start it on Monday. Well, I know myself. I know sometimes things will come up and maybe Monday rolls around and I'm like, I'll do it tomorrow. I just need to start right now. So I've started reading my books to get myself back into that mindset. So that's something that I'm working on in 2023 is keeping my why much more top of mind.
Yeah.
I feel like that was a long way to get to that, but.
Well, it's a great umbrella concept for 2023 that then you can like different STAR goals can become, come to fruition from that umbrella, like intention, if you will, of like stay connected with the why. I think that's great. And I mean, it's something I should definitely be doing. All of us could benefit from that. Okay, so another goal, I mentioned last week's episode, I really saw a lot of growth in meal planning or meal prepping, a little bit of both. So my main focus is just to maintain. Y'all know I'm like the queen of wash, rinse, and repeat. So I don't want to overcomplicate that. I just want to continue to see the value in it and continue to make it a priority. So maybe I'm, toying around the idea with setting a specific goal of like, okay, I'll share one reel a week about something that I prepped. Because for me, using social media and content creation keeps me interested and keeps me excited, so I kind of use that as leverage to follow through, I told y'all I was doing this competition. Well, I know I have to be accountable to that. Or I told y'all I was going to post a reel, so I know I need to prep something, like it just kind of helps me. So that's definitely something I want to keep in mind. But on the flip side, one of my intentions is to also manage my social media usage. So I kind of already have the ball's been rolling on that. I've been taking Saturdays off of social media. I think that's great. But then, my partner Seth called me out a little bit. He's like, I feel like you're overcompensating for the time that you take off on Saturday, like in the evenings during the week. Like you're still spending quite a bit of time on your phone.
Yeah.
And so, it's great to have that accountability. Like he's very aware of it. So
yeah.
I want to, tailor that in some way. So I'm still looking at the specifics because I don't want to get extreme with like, I know I'm going to put my phone away at like 8:00 every night. Like that's just not realistic. So I think right now, like I'm kind of creating the umbrella goals and then I can get more specific as we continue forward with it. Like you are saying with the intention of, this is my reconnecting with my why is like the big idea. And then like, okay, how can I break that down? I've been setting the STAR goal of the tracking streak. I think it would be fun for 2023 to just see like what's the longest streak I can have. Yeah. I'm not going to say like 365 days because I just don't. I mean, like things will come up. Maybe I don't have access to my phone or like I pre-tracked and then it doesn't like maintain the streak. That's something I wish they would change. But I really would like to see like what's the biggest streak I can get in 2023. So that's definitely something I'm going to be focusing on. What other kind of like recommendations or things have you been thinking about? Books and podcasts or goals?
Well, okay. So as Maggie had said, I do a lot with the podcast. I don't know if everybody realizes. So I do, I was doing 4 jobs essentially. I was with WW as a virtual coach. I do the podcast. I work at the radio station. And then I also am a freelance social media for a big outlet mall out here. And so something had to give. I was literally working all day long. I was, in the evening, I'd make dinner and then I would sit down and be on my laptop the rest of the evening. And one of the things with taking away my virtual coaching is I've been able to have my evenings a little bit more as a downtime. And so I did have a rule, which I've been implementing more, and I want to get it more solidified, I guess, in 2023, 9 p.m. 9 p.m. I like, I'm out of the living room. The laptop is closed. I want to go take my shower and then just read for the rest of the evening. Like take that time to wind down, and especially because like like I said, my days get really, really busy, and I really do enjoy reading these books and listening to these kind of podcasts and about the science of everything. I think that's why I do really dig WWs, because it's so science backed.
Right.
I love that. I love to know the science of things and understand that. And so, yeah, that's because last year, one of the big ones I wanted to do is I wanted to start meditating. And I just never really got into it. But I feel like this can be kind of a form of that same concept of calming my mind, winding down. And so 9 o'clock, yeah, I just really want to get that to be so well worn. And it's getting better, because even my husband will be like, oh, hey, it's time to head to the bedroom. Because he knows now that doesn't mean I have to go to sleep. That just means we're starting to wind down. We're turning things off. Yeah. Plugging the phone in over there, turn the computer off. Because if not, I will go until like 10:30 and be like, oh, I got to go to sleep. And then it takes me a while to wind down then. And then I'm falling asleep even later. And then you know what I mean? I don't like that sensation. So I just want to solidify that just a little bit more this year. So I've started it this year, and I really want to keep that one going into the next year and make it just so it's, second nature. Like, it's just out of habit. Like you were saying, the other day about, when you brush your teeth, you don't even think about it. It's just something that you do at that time. So I want it to get that solid in my routine.
Yeah. It's interesting you were talking about books. That was another thing. I wish I would have thought to share this in last week's episode, but I read more in 2022 than I had read since high school.
Really?
I had set the very arbitrary goal of 12 books in the month of January, or in the year. Gosh, words are hard. 2022, right? Yeah. And I thought 1 book a month, that seems doable. Maybe I'll get ahead some months. Maybe I'll, fall behind 12 books. Yeah. And so far I've read 17 books. So I crushed the goal. I'm in the middle of this book called The Silent Patient, which, if y'all have not read that, if you like thrillers, you will probably like this. I haven't finished it yet because I'm in a book club and I have to follow the pace, but I'm dying to finish it. So that's really good. But I would love to maintain that behavior of reading more, scrolling social media less. So I think that kind of goes hand in hand with that conversation I had about managing social media, because I've been replacing some of my scrolling with using my Kindle at nighttime, because it does help me wind down a lot more when I read than when I'm consuming content on social media, because it
keeps you activated. Yeah, it's very different.
So I do want to maintain that. And I love the app. I've mentioned this in a podcast before, but it's called Goodreads, and it's totally free. And you can set a goal for yourself for reading, and there's little challenges and fun things that you can do, and you can keep track of everything that you've read, and you can keep track. I have a list of what I want to read that's 40 books long. So I've obviously got some material ahead of me. I should not run out of ideas. So I think that's it's really fun. Every time I see someone recommend a book that I might be interested in, I'll add it to the list, and it's just kind of fun. Yeah. And then let's see. So by the time this episode goes live, I will have completed my first ever, it's considered a CrossFit competition, but I did the functional fitness category. So I'm really excited about pursuing that a little bit more. But again, I'm thinking doable. So I would like to do at least 1 more of those in the year of 2023. Yeah. There's a lot that happen locally to me. And then there's a couple that are not very far away, in terms of a day drive. So I'm interested in exploring that a little bit more, but again, not going all in here, just doing 1.
Yeah. Okay.
And then if I do more, great.
Yeah, I know. I love that. Last year, I really wanted to, this year, 2022, I really wanted to do a 5K, and I had planned on doing, and I'm actually really glad I didn't sign up for the turkey trot, because I had COVID and I wouldn't have been allowed to go anyway. But the heat of the summer is what really got in my way. So I'm thinking, if I can I need to start now. I need to do a race that's before the summer hits, because I know what happens when the summer hits here in Southern California. It gets so blazing hot outside. It's still 95 at 6 a.m. and I don't want to go run in that, because I don't want to pass out. So I need to do it earlier in the year. I need to set one for like April or May and start in January and start my prep for that. So especially with getting to the gym more, I always start the gym on the treadmill. And I don't do it excessively. I do like 10 minutes on the treadmill to warm up. But I do need to get outside more. I miss my walking. I miss my running. And I really need to get back into that. So I think I'm going to start in January because I mean, literally, it does not get that cold in California. It really doesn't. I can probably go for a walk almost all year round if I don't mind the heat. And it's super rare that we get rain, which is very sad. We need it more.
And maybe with you, you know, you've been like slowly building back up your activity in terms of going to the gym, maybe, and having that race like to look forward to for earlier on in the year, you'll kind of build a routine of even running indoors. Because I know you mentioned that it was like you don't like the idea of like having to go sweat at the gym to just go sweat outside, but like maybe you'll get into a routine where you just love it so much where that doesn't become an issue anymore, you know, like maybe having that goal early on. There's a lot of like fun spring time things that I
love the idea. Well, and area. I did it was called Warrior Dash a long time ago. It's not a thing anymore. Like I've looked the company up and they don't do them anymore, but it's those obstacle course, like 5Ks, which I love. I would love to do one of those again. I think that would be super duper fun to do again. So I need to find one. And like, even just the other day, Coach Yadira, who was special guest host when you had COVID, she just did another 5K the other day. And I'm like, I love that. I love that feeling of accomplishment. And I'm like, I need to, because what do you say, Maggie? I need to, identify as a runner. I do. I just really need to. Even I don't have to do super long distance. Like I mean, who knows? One day I might get there, but I'm like, I don't need to feel the need. Wow. Why are words so hard today? I don't feel the need to accomplish a marathon. At any point in time. I don't know why the words aren't coming out. Just the 5Ks are good for me. I just want to be able to accomplish a race this year. And so if I know the summer's going to get in my way, I need to do it beforehand. So that's another goal of mine this year. I feel like that's kind of a big one too for me. But still,
big, but also totally doable.
Yeah, totally especially doable. Breaking it down. I can break that down into smaller parts to get to the big goal. So that's something I want to work on this year. Yep. Yeah. I have to cough again.
The only other random goal that I have, or intention, if you will, something that needs to get more specific, but just an idea. My younger brother got me a ukulele 2 Christmases ago. Why? When I tell you I have not touched the ukulele, it's sitting literally right behind me underneath that piano. I really do want to be a ukulele girl. But again, it's like building a habit. I have so many different things going on. Like, it's just one more thing. So I'm just putting it out there into the universe. It may or may not happen, but I would love to do something. Anything on the ukulele in the year 2023 would be more than I would have done in the past couple of years. So I think it would just be fun for my musical brain. That's just like a random intention. I also I have intentions about spending less money on clothes, or like being more intentional with my budget, or like being more intentional with furniture, or like designing my aesthetic for where I live. But like, again, I'm trying not to get ahead of myself here, y'all. I am one of those people that like gets dreams big and then like thinks Rome can happen in a day. Yeah. And like, I'm so thankful that I have Seth. He brings me back down to earth. He'll be like, because I get going and I'm like, oh, but okay, can we paint the nightstands? And can we fix this fix this hutch? And I want to like replace this entire thing. And he's like, whoa. Let's like take it one room at a time. Let's take it like one furniture piece at a time. Like, this time of year is not really great for painting. Like, let's just like hold out to the spring, you know? Like, so it's really funny. Like, he helps me kind of get grounded because I can just get. I don't know if I have social media to blame for this, but you just like see all the it girls, like the, people that are doing all these wonderful things, or their house looks this kind of way, or like, so it's like a lot of my issues come from social media, but then a lot of my joy comes from social media as well. So it's just like very interesting. But
I know this is very off topic, but I am super digging your sweater.
Oh, thank you. You would,
is it Winnie the Pooh?
It's Winnie the Pooh. Yeah.
It's so cute. You know me, I love my honeybees. I even have my necklace on because I bought myself this necklace. So it's my little honeycomb with the honeybee on it when I hit my 100-pound, my 1 year of maintenance. And so I've been wearing it a lot more lately just to remind myself, like, we're still in this. You know what I mean? Like, I'm still in this. I haven't given up. This is a very big reminder for myself of all the hard work that I put in. I know this is tangent. So you guys know that I love me some spooky season. And Maggie, have you heard what happened to Winnie the Pooh when his after a certain amount of time, certain brands can become public domain, and Winnie the Pooh has become public domain. And somebody's making a horror movie of Winnie the Pooh, and it's called Winnie the Pooh Blood and Honey. And apparently, Christopher Robin goes off to college, and he kind of ditches them, and they start to get really hungry, and they turn feral because, I mean, they are animals, and they start going crazy, and they start terrorizing people in the woods. And yeah,
I don't know how I feel about that, but I support you.
I'm going to see it just because I'm so curious. But yeah, I was like, really? And the same thing just happened with Bambi. Bambi just went to public domain. And apparently Bambi
it's already dark enough. He loses his mom. Spoilers.
Exactly. And that's gonna affect him the rest of his life though. And so I think the storyline is gonna be he's gonna go after the people that murdered his mother, but I don't know where it's going to go with that one.
It got dark really quick. It's so funny. Like, Rachel is to spooky season as I am to, like, the holiday season. So it's, like, slightly different vibes, but it's okay.
I can literally turn any conversation into, like, do you know what my husband and I just went and bought a couple of days ago? We had to go to Hot Topic because they had a Frankenstein and Bride of Frankenstein pop collectors, and they were black and white. Like, that's the kind of things that are in my house year round.
See, and this is why, y'all, we made a podcast, because like Rachel and I will just stay talking forever and we'll just totally divert from the topic of conversation. But I think we both have some really great intentions.
Yeah.
I think what I hope the listeners take away from this is it's great to dream. It's great to set like thoughts and intentions and have a focus, but like, let's try to get specific, realistic, doable, know thyself.
Yes.
Meet yourself, where you are. Don't feel like you need to go 0 to 100. And know that it's okay if you set a goal and it just didn't work. Like,
yes,
we let it go. Past is in the past. But let's just try something new and see how it inspires us.
Or if you want to try it again, maybe try it again. Come at it from a different angle, but do whatever, makes your weird little heart happy is kind of where I'm getting at with everything today. Like, there's so much. Like, my house is full of collectibles and all of these things. And so I feel like there's always so much happening here. So I figure out, how does this work into my day? How can I work these things into who I am? Like, I kid you guys not, when I am on the treadmill at the gym, I'm usually listening to either Scary Story podcast or a true crime podcast. I'm not listening to music at the gym. I'm not. I don't know why. But be you, man. Follow your heart. Find those things that make you happy and utilize them. Just because somebody else is doing it doesn't mean that you have to do it. If it's something that, like me, makes your weird little heart happy, go for it. That's okay. Yep. Find those things that's going to work for you. Like Maggie said, meet yourself where you are. Okay. When we're going into 2023, we can have these great big ideas and have these fabulous goals in mind. But just remember, we can break those down into very baby steps. And they can, very, very small steps will still lead to a mile, you guys. It really, really will.
It will. So, that was cute. I love that. All right. Star Goals recommendations really quick. In true honesty, I'm getting hungry. I'm ready for lunch. So let's do this.
Okay, so you went first last week. So my goal this week is I'm gonna finish Ditch the Diet. So Oonagh Duncan, it's Oonagh, Duncan, Duncan. I'll put a link to that book and Dr. William Lee's book on Amazon in the show notes. So I want to finish her book this week though. So that's something I'm gonna work on because like I said, getting back into my why. So I'm gonna finish the book this week. And my recommendation is, friends, bring your why back to the forefront. It can be different than what your why was when you started. It can be, an exaggerated version of your original why. It can have changed completely, but bring it to the forefront. I like to write my why down on mirrors, especially because my closet mirror my closet door is a giant mirror. I love to have it on there because you can wipe that off, change it up. But whatever you need to do to bring your why to the forefront, utilize that as you're setting your 2023 intentions is my recommendation. So
I love it.
Yeah.
Y'all are going to be sick of hearing from me about this tracking streak, but I just want to be one of those people that's like, I have a 322 days tracking streak. So that's my star goal, is to keep this tracking streak going. 2023, baby. I would love to be able to record the first episode of 2023 and have a nice little streak going.
Yes.
And my recommendation is to write your goals down, maybe somewhere where you won't lose them. Like, maybe not a Post-it note, but
maybe
somewhere. Maybe well, write them down so you can actually reflect on them and stay in tune with them, because I'm in such the behavior of like speaking a goal out loud and then like getting distracted. So
that made me think of so guys, $1.25 tree. I know it's no longer the Dollar Tree. $1.25 tree. Get you one of the little poster boards there. Even you can make it like a visual representation. You can do the vision boards. Like last year, I wanted to do a 3D vision board so it would have actual items in like a shadow box, and I never did it. I need to do that this year. Me and my daughter were going to do that last year, and I never did it. And I really still love that idea of a 3D vision board.
Yes.
Essentially. I forgot about that. I want to do that again this year. I think that's a good one.
Perks of the combo.
See, I told you, I knew something was going to pop into my brain. Just
going to pop
it out.
All right, y'all. Yes. The last quote for 2022.
Oh my gosh.
I know, it's crazy. The only thing standing between you and your goal is the BS story you keep telling yourself as to why you can't achieve it. Ooh, tough love. Quit with the BS, y'all. Ourselves included.
Yes.
We can do it.
Yeah.
All right.
Yay.
Rachel, one last time, 2022.
I know. Oh my gosh, guys. I feel like I'm going to tear up. Thanks for dropping by.
Have a magical day. Woohoo! See you all in a couple of weeks. Happy New Year. Bye.